Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Dawes County Board of Commissioners work session. Today's Thursday, May 19th, 2022. Appreciate all of those that are with us in attendance as well as those that are with us online. We'll get right into the new business. First up, we have presentation of ambulance billing policy update. Emergency Services Director Danny Thompson. Danny.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Board. Wanted to bring this before the board. If you remember, back in about April of 21 last year, we presented the board updates to our ambulance billing policy. Also had an ordinance change that had the rates and fee changes in there. And reviewing some of the issues that have kind of came up since we put that policy in place and made some changes to it, we determined in conjunction with our new debt collection policy or company, finance and us took a closer look at our current policy. There were several things that we routinely had to deal with. That previous document was drafted by and our county attorneys. Inside of your packet today, you actually have two different versions. You have the edits, which is essentially the old policy that the board approved last year. You have a clean version. I tried to highlight it for you so you could see those changes in there. Really move us down to section 4 of the ambulance billing policy. And if you look at the last line there, we were charging a 1% finance fee. We've eliminated that. That's just something we're not doing. So we've eliminated that portion of it. Moving down to section 5, because we eliminated that, it now in G, section G there in 5, it talks about finance charge. So now that's gone. So it basically shifts several of those other line items there. If you move to H in the old document, in there, there was language when a patient was on a payment plan and when that patient's account was eventually sent over to the collections. We kind of cleaned that language up, made it 60 days. That's what the collections company has requested. And therefore we kind of brought that back together to assist them. And if you notice, now we require our primary ambulance billers. When that ambulance bill goes out on the first round, we require them to give us any what we recur bad accounts by that 180-day window. They provide us all of those patient accounts at that 180-day mark so we can make sure that we're tracking it when it goes over to collections. So we're not missing anything on the accounting side there. And then the next change that was in the document, if you move to section 8A, section 3, this is in the write-off section. It was just kind of clarifying the language in there that if an individual is deceased, then the estate produces a death certificate and it falls in the allowable write-off section there. If you move to 8B, previously, we allowed the collections company only to pursue the debt for 180 days. So now we've changed that language at the request of the debt collection company and to fall back in line with state statutes to be at the 4-year mark. So hopefully we will be able to continue to see some revenue streams come in. And we're going to do those based on calendar year. So if you remember that at the last session, Vicki presented to the board ambulance write-offs. And so hopefully now working together, you, the board, will see that once a year. We will say, okay, we've got 4 years worth of the debt now. So you'll see 2018 come before you. And now you'll only see that once a time. You won't see those large chunks of where we had 4 or 5 years. I think actually we may have had some on there back when Chairman Thurman was in a different shirt and tie.
Don't blame it on me.
So, but with that, the last thing was in section 9 when we addressed county employees. And so we really spelled it out in here to say full-time county employees, and the bill will be written off once that has been filed against the insurance. And then whatever insurance pays, we accept. And at that point, we write it off. With that, I will try to answer any questions, and this will need a public hearing.
Questions for Chief Thompson?
On the county employee, I didn't think we were billing insurance. So was that one? That's one of the things that causes our insurance to go up is how much we pay out. during the year sometimes. And I thought we wasn't billing a county employee. We wouldn't send it to the insurance. I think that's what we discussed. We discussed that when we were talking about county employees that's on the county insurance, that we would not bill the insurance.
Way I recall it was that there was discussion on that, but there was not a vote to erase the employee from that responsibility.
I think we
I'll
did.
have to go back
I
and
thought it
look
was,
at
and
that.
that was
That's
gonna
why I
be
said I have to go
another.
back, and take a look at it.
Because actually, that's one reason, you know,
That's
we
good.
discussed why insurance goes up. A lot of times is
Mhm.
we have certain numbers payout on employees.
And I don't,
And Commissioner
I don't
Satterfield,
go
Go ahead.
I said, I just don't remember the distinction too between part-time and full-time on that either.
that was part of the issue, and we have, not only do we have full-time, part-time, and very seasonal. So we kind of tried to clean up that language there to really spell out the full-time side of it. But one of the other things in there is when you're billing against that insurance, most people are going to have to meet their copay anyway. A lot of people haven't met that copay at that point. And, you know, if they meet the copay, then, you know, it's a
Some of
complete-
that other money can go towards their hospital bill or medicines or things like that. I mean,
But if it's the
I don't
desire
want
of
to see
the
our
board,
county
we can
employees, especially if
change,
they're doing their job.
we
get
can
billed.
change a single sentence in there to reflect that.
Yep.
But still just bringing it back to covering full-time employees.
Yeah, because that'd be the only one with insurance anyway.
Yeah.
Full time.
And then, Mr. Chairman, the other question I had on the changing it to 4 years, I mean, after 60 or 90 days, once the service goes after a bad debt, what's the percentage we get? Do we get anything out of that? You know, I
Get
don't
a-
know if
we
we're
get a
dragging along
percent,
and billing
But I
people
don't,
for
I
4
don't have
years.
that number.
Yeah.
I don't have that number before us.
Might be a sliding scale based on how long that time frame.
Yeah.
You remember, Vicky?
It's not a huge amount. I do feel like we need to take every opportunity to recoup that money for the county.
I agree with that, but just 4 years seems like a.
Well, that's the kind of like statute of
Yeah.
limitations.
Okay.
The Coverage on it. They can only go back.
So are they in agreement with that?
Correct,
They are?
correct.
Is it more opportunity?
Yeah.
Right, I mean, I just.
I mean, and somewhere during that 4 year period, you know, you never know.
But we have had a few that, you know, dated back pretty far and then they were able to find them, they moved, and so they were able to find them.
Okay.
If I could just interject one thing, section 9 exemptions does still include that employee option for free service. That is
Yeah, that's
still-
what I don't want to see them build.
Yeah, it is
at
still
all.
there. It is designated as full-time employees,
Mhm.
but that's been maintained from the previous rewrite back in April 2021.
Okay.
But I think to the Commissioner Satterfield's point, I think what you're saying is in there, the language, and I'll just read it verbatim, shall not be responsible for charges after their insurance has been processed for their claim. So I guess
That's
what I
one
need to
reason we
know from the
discussed it
board is,
back in
do you
April,
want
though.
to eliminate
Oh, you
Us
don't want them to
billing
submit to their
their
insurance?
insurance one time and then accepting whatever that we get or don't get?
Historically,
like
how many
paying
times has
ourselves.
happened?
Believe it or not, this year, a fair amount. We probably had, I'm gonna say 12 to 20 county employees that have exercised it.
And so in Tim's idea in theory is in order to reduce our loss ratio on our health insurance by not hitting our health insurance, then that would not cause, it would reduce our overall loss ratio, which in theory would allow us to negotiate a better premium in the next year, which makes
It could.
sense.
Assuming they're on our insurance and not
Right.
on a spouse
That's right.
insurance.
Right, and I don't know if you can make that determination, if we want to get in the weeds
Yeah.
of that, because that can get a lot of time management.
I just hate to see it build them, especially if they're working on duty and doing a service. I know that's workers' comp, but still, we're gonna turn around and
And I
bill them.
think that part of it's a little different than, we're really talking more about the full-time employee at his or her private residence, not in their county function, because if they're here at work, more than likely, you're looking at more of a work comp through
Yeah, that's a different.
HR.
Different, but still. And the whole idea behind the employee exemption, if I'm remembering correctly, was to eliminate the chance for us to have to go after a county employee for bad debt, basically, right? I mean,
Which
that was-
we're not doing that. That's, and it's, it's, obviously,
just
we
don't
don't
know.
know every county employee here, so we try to track. We work with our personnel when they're submitting their ambulance bills to identify, and that's something that, we tried to really work with the, the employees, our staff, to say, find out if they're a county employee, let's flag the PCR, because sometimes we don't know about it until the employee calls back over and says, hey, I work for the county. And I said, okay, we didn't know, our apologies.
Thought you knew everything.
No, I just wish.
You didn't stay at the Holiday Inn?
Sorry,
You didn't stay at the Holiday Inn, huh?
I didn't stay at the Holiday Inn Express last night.
All right, so we can consider making that change. Any other questions for Chief Thompson? That has to have a hearing? And when would that be? Do we have any idea?
June 2nd, thanks the next one.
No, sir, you will vote to move forward to the next public
Yeah.
hearing at the next
Oh,
meeting.
yep,
So
okay.
most likely June 16th.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up is presentation of board appointments. Department of Family and Children Service, Randy Harkness replacing Jennifer Wright. Term June 2022 through March 2025. And Georgia Mountain Regional Commission Private Sector appointee, Kevin Harrett, who's our new development director right there. He'd be replacing our former development director in that same role. That term will be July 2022 through June 2023. And then Long Range Planning Committee, Jim Brayley, replacing Dick Sharp, taking his place on the Long Range Planning Committee. And so I'll present those to you and we can vote on those at our next meeting. All right,
As in tonight?
no,
No,
at our next one.
okay.
All right, County Manager report, David.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. Good afternoon. The key indicator reports for the month of April, as well as a list of agreements and contracts is in your packet. The Parks and Rec hosted a first kick ceremony on May the 10th for the turf fields at Rock Creek Park. Commissioner Fawcett, which I understand is
Missed the
being.
goal.
You
Well,
missed.
Say it.
I understand
Oh,
it's
no.
being drafted.
Just
So,
say
yeah, yeah,
Was it close?
it. Real close.
close to the ground.
Don't play the video.
Yeah.
I
Um,
tried, people, I tried.
She spoke and delivered the first kick, and refreshments were served to more than 150 kids and parents. The first game was then played on the fields. On May the 11th, Parks and Rec hosted the May 2022 GRPA District 7 Business and Athletic Meeting. More than 125 recreational professionals from 26 different Northeast Georgia counties attended the meeting and was fed by the pool room, breakfast and Chick-fil-A as well. We then had the dog park at Veterans Memorial Park is opened and already is drawing citizens and their pets. It is located at the back of the park with signage directing to it. The Veterans Memorial Park pool is ready for the summer and will open to the public on Saturday, May the 28th. Courtroom C upgrades are complete. All 4 courtrooms are now officially done. The new cybersecurity system is working great and continues to provide excellent results. Office 365 licenses have been received and IT has started configuration, which Herman did speak to you about that a week ago. On May the 11th, the department or the fire department hosted the Metro Atlanta Arson Task Force monthly meeting. And then all fire department supervisors attended the SARTO PO training on May the 17th. This is a newly purchased software program to aid in establishing search grids and real-time tracking of the search groups on lost or missing persons and instances. And then it's my pleasure to introduce you our new Public Works Director, Jeff Hahn. After high school, Mr. Hahn was accepted into the University of Central Florida for the mechanical engineering program. He served in the Coast Guard for 8 years in a mixed capacity of active and reserve duty as machinery technician engineer and federal boarding officer. He has served 31 years in Brevard County government, of which 22 of those years have been in administrative management and supervisory capacity. His titles included engineering supervisor of the Civil Engineering Design and Review Department, senior director of the GIS and Cadastral Services Department for the Property Appraiser's Office. Mr. Hahn holds degrees and certifications in civil, mechanical, and structural design engineering, along with former professional designations in GIS. And Mr. Hahn is married and has a wife named Erica and a son named Jeremy. So I'd like to just introduce him, have him come say hi to you.
Come on up.
Thank you for that welcome, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to be here, and I look forward to serving the community and the citizens of Dawson County. And, just starting to get my feet wet now the past few days.
He's deep in it.
Welcome
When was your-
aboard.
When was your first day?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you not got in the weeds yet.
Yeah.
In his
You
profession,
will.
in his profession, it'll be in the ditch.
In the ditch, yeah.
I'm getting a little used to all the curves and up and downs and on the roads and the smaller shoulder areas.
Mhm,
I'm used to that flat ground driving.
mhm.
Just go slow.
Yes, sir. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, that concludes my report.
Questions of the county manager?
Where'd you say the dog park was? It,
Veterans.
Veterans.
Yes, ma'am, in the back part. Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Chairman, I just want to thank the county manager and Commissioner Gaines too, getting us another contact with DOT. I just want to let the citizens know that was not the county out paving. I know we got like a lot of complaints on 400 that we were paving one lane of the road and paving during the day. That's DOT, the state was doing that. But thanks for getting us that list out of all the projects they got on board and getting DOT. You know, that's been a passion of mine that I've tried to get them to just give us the money and let us take care of the roads up there, especially cut grass. But thank y'all for getting them up here so quick.
Thank you. And I would like to thank the Commissioner Gaines for that because he spearheaded the contact and we were able to get that done. And as that project list shows you that next year, I believe it is, they're scheduled to overlay that entire 400 area. So what we see right now is a temporary fix for an overlay, complete overlay project.
But I know you and myself, we went to Gainesville several trips and met with them and stay on, just let citizens know we do stay on DOT to try to take care of this northern part of 400 and make it look like some of the south part of 400 looks.
Other questions for the county manager? County attorney report, Ms. Davis.
I do not have any report and I have no need for an executive session unless the board has anything coming before us tonight later. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, that concludes our work session agenda. We'll take about a 10-minute break and we'll be back for the voting session. Thank you for your attendance.